Should work be permanent? Is owning a scooter a remix of owning a car? Is it easy to become a famous rock band by simply buying a bunch of Facebook fans? We'll look at these topics and more on Disruptive FM, episode 27. Roll the title.
It's Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Welcome to Disruptive FM, where business and culture collide. Sponsored by Microsoft and Branding Strategy Insider. With your host, Jeffrey Colon.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Disruptive FM, episode 27, for the week ending Friday, the 23rd of November, 2018. I'm Jeffrey Colon, your host for the next quarter hour as we examine the culture of business and check out the latest news in marketing, tech, media, and popular culture. Drop the bass.
Here are this week's trending topics. Work Revolt.
You're going to probably take a little time away from work this week if you're based in the United States. Does it scare you that work may not be there when you return? That's a common fear. But where does it come from? Oh, yes. Work has been disrupted a lot by Silicon Valley, right? Actually, this is an issue that goes back to the 1970s. Wait, the 1950s. Hold on. The 1930s. Let's try it again. How about the 1920s? This was when big management consulting firms were first born. And when they decided to tell management that it is best to use temporary workers, just like them, to maximize revenue. So why hasn't this history been spread around more to the American workforce? Well, it has. A new book from Louis Hyman, associate professor at Cornell University, and author of the book Temp, How American Work, American Business, and the American Dream Became Temporary, has studied this phenomenon for a while. And he has some inside information on why we don't have to get comfortable in assuming we're all temporary, disrupted employees in the era of the knowledge worker. Here's what Louis had to say in an interview conducted earlier this week via Skype.
In the book, when I talk about temps, I don't mean just people who work at temp agencies, but the larger set of people that have a loose affiliation with a corporation, whether you're a consultant or a temp or an independent contractor or a migrant laborer. There's a way in which these transitional disposable workforces, has recently been called the liquid workforce by HR professionals, have made possible our new organization of work and business in America. So AI is an important story here, right? Because there's two kinds of AI. There's the robots are coming like the Terminator, general AI, which I and most reasonable thinking people think will probably not happen, at least in our lifetimes. But what will happen is narrow AI, which is already happening, which is machine learning. Do you have data? Can you use a generic algorithm, which is no better than anybody else's algorithm, to make sense of that data? And that's where the rubber meets the road. What kinds of data do we have to automate work, both intellectual work and physical work, and how can machines do this? And right now, it's hard to train machines to do anything unless they can watch us, right? So the surveillance is a crucial part of this narrow AI, because if you can watch someone do their work, you can see where they repeat themselves. And if you repeat yourself, you can be automating. So in the end of the book, I talk a lot about digital migrants and what this means. The idea that in the next few years, there's going to be commodity robot bodies where people in VR cafes in Bangladesh can run them through platforms like Fiverr or Upwork for just a few dollars an hour. And this is how we begin to automate physical labor, by the surveillance of these disposable workforces. And that's how we acquire the data that a few people will have to do that. So whether you're a knowledge worker, whether you're a physical laborer, you should be concerned about the meaning of AI and machine learning, because it's coming.
That was Louis Hyman. He is the author of the book Temp, How American Work, American Business, and the American Dream Became Temporary. And we should really get used to the fact that that is a myth in which we should make permanent.
Trending topics on DFM. Ford Scooter Company.
Ford is a car company. Hold that thought. Really a motor company. So is it surprising that they are doubling down and investing in the red-hot urban trend of owning scooters? The electric two-wheeler industry is suddenly on the rise with a lot of automakers partaking and investing in it. Some by manufacturing, some by investing in various mobility services. Recently, we at DFM heard Elon Musk suddenly indicating that Tesla may soon get into electric cycles. General Motors has similar plans as well. And Ford announced its arrival in style, purchasing Spin. No, not the old music magazine, an electric scooter rental firm. This trend makes sense. Car sales are down, urban living is exploding, and nobody in a densely populated area wants to really own a car anymore when they use ride-sharing services. Even in a city like Los Angeles, made famous from a 1980s song that nobody walks here, downtown urbanization of the city is making that possible. So it makes sense why they are pivoting to two motorized wheels. But did they jump the gun? According to Axios, Ford paid $100 million to acquire Spin when it reportedly carried a price tag of only $40 million. Somehow this math doesn't add up. At least not yet. We'll have to bookmark this one as a wait and see.
Trending topics on DFM. No fans banned.
This one is too good to be true, but hey, the internet never lies, right? A Los Angeles hard rock band named Threaten has reportedly created a false fan base and used those numbers to book a European tour. And as could have been expected, nobody showed up. It apparently all started to unravel when the band's so-called agent convinced the Underworld venue in Camden, England, that Threaten had pre-sold 291 tickets to their gig on November 1st. Well, it turned out later that only 3 people showed up. Then, a few nights later, only a few people were in attendance at the Exchange Club in Bristol, England, after that venue was told that 180 tickets were pre-sold. And those few people were on the opening bands list. It's happened to other venues too, and as of now, the band's Breaking the World tour is scheduled to run through November, ending with a gig in Weinheim, Germany. Now, a member of the band, The Unresolved, who opened for Threaten in Birmingham, England, noted the following in a blog post. So my band, The Resolved, played last night at Asylum 2 in Birmingham, England. The day before, on November 7th, we got a message from Ghost of Machines explaining there was nobody at their Bristol show with Threaten. They thought he'd been ripped off by band booking. We spoke with Asylum, who told us they'd been told it was sellout, but they checked ticket sales and they were at 0. Asylum made it free entry. And of course, The Resolved added, from what we can tell, Threaten is the guy, not the band. His name is Jared Threaten, and he says he's a solo artist with a hired band. They were sound checking when we got there. Throughout the whole night, Threaten didn't approach anybody or talk to anyone but his own people. There were 13 people in the room when we played. The sound engineer, bartender, 10 people we brought, and 1 who actually got a ticket. Now, it appears that frontman Jared Threaten, or someone who is bankrolling him, has bought Facebook fans to bring the band's following up to 38,000 people. On top of that, the band's YouTube channel features clips that look like they were edited with large crowd sizes that probably didn't exist. And this is what makes it interesting in our fake world. You don't have to do the hard work anymore. You just have to game the system.
It's Disruptive FM.
Communications.
The Business Culture Podcast.
They say if you listen closely, You can hear the sound of today.
It's Disruptive FM, the culture of business. Brought to you by Microsoft Advertising and Branding Strategy Insider. I'm Jeffrey Colon. Reach out and touch us on social media. The Instagram and Twitter handle is @DisruptiveFM. And connect with me personally on Instagram or Twitter @DJGEOFFE. For more in-depth analysis of some of these topics, check out bingads.com/intelligence search and brandingstrategyinsider.com. And create better video with iOgrapher. They make accessories for your mobile devices so you can make professional quality videos. Learn more all about the products we use here at DFM at iOgrapher.com. In the background, new music from Gabrielle Poso with Everybody Loves the Sunshine, the Apalapo remix. Let's take a listen. Gabrielle Poso is an Italian percussionist and multi-instrumentalist who has released music on taste-making labels like Compost, K7, and Yoruba. This track, Everybody Loves the Sunshine, and yes, it is indeed a cover of the 1976 Roy Ayers classic. It's from a new set of remixes from his album, Awakening. It's out now on BBE, or Barely Breaking Even, Records. Okay, to quote Miss Shirley Bassey, they say next big thing is here. But to us, it seems quite clear. It's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Disruptive FM presents...
Stop! It's the motherfucking remix!
Everything is a remix.
Amazon is supposedly trying to buy a number of regional cable TV channels that Disney had to sell based on their ownership of ESPN. What it means is interesting because live sports, heck, live anything in this day and age, is the only remaining hope for what we come to call traditional television. Amazon seems most interested in New York-based Yes Network, or Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network, where the Bronx Bombers air all of their games. Our thinking at DFM is that Amazon wants this because they could stream Yes games on Prime Video, which could fundamentally change the sports media business. Or could it? A long time ago in a galaxy not that far away, sports was regional. Your local teams aired on local TV. Then consolidation occurred and leagues sold bids for television rights. More and more games became national in scope. In fact, around 25 years ago, the Atlanta Braves were massive because their games aired regionally and nationally on a burgeoning network we all know as TBS. Same with the Chicago Cubs on network WGN. Amazon knows where this is all headed moving forward because they're borrowing from that same model. Bid on regional networks with big teams that appeal nationally. By streaming games on Amazon, you get the regional audiences in large urban areas, but also the overflow national audiences. It's literally the TBS and WGN model remixed to a T. Okay, time now to check out some brewing stories you should have your eye on. It's a segment called On the Radar.
Here's what's on our radar. Number 1.
As Disney's television business faces streaming era headwinds, the entertainment giant is pouring billions of dollars into upgrading its theme parks, which have endured as a resilient cash cow for the company. Disney's parks and resorts scooped up $4.5 billion in profits this fiscal year, an increase of over 100% from 2013. To exploit this growth, Disney plans to invest about $24 billion in new attractions, hotels, and cruise ships in the next 5 years, a sum larger than what it paid for Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm combined.
Number 2.
Sears hopes to pay some 18 of its top executives large bonuses, splitting $8.5 million between them in the 2 upcoming quarters. The embattled retailer, which declared bankruptcy earlier this year, also plans to pay over 300 non-insider workers bonuses from a pool of $16.9 million. Can we say failing upwards?
Number 3.
Multi-level marketing company Lulu Row, which catapulted from near obscurity into a $2.3 billion company in just 4 years, is facing debt, layoffs, and the exodus of thousands of sellers. The women's clothing company, which sells its colorful wares to consultants, which then market and sell the clothes on social media and to friends and family, is facing turmoil and has lost 1/3 of its top sellers. Last year, the company was hit by a class action lawsuit by a group of consultants who claimed the firm was a pyramid scheme. In other news, water is wet. And that will put a cork in our 27th episode of DFM. Big thanks to our guest, Louis Hyman, author of the book Temp. Connect with us by following me on Twitter or Instagram at DJGEOFFE. Follow Disruptive FM on Twitter or Instagram at Disruptive FM. And you can read more in-depth content via our 3 sponsors, bingads.com/intelligent search, brandingstrategyinsider.com, and iographer.com. Next week, John Chambers, Chairman Emeritus of Cisco and author of the new book, Connecting the Dots, Lessons for Leadership in a Startup World, will join us. Until then, for everyone here at DFM, thanks for tuning in. I'm Jeffrey Colon. Catch you later.
You've been listening to Disruptive FM with Microsoft Communications designer Jeffrey Colon. All thoughts are his own. Disruptive FM is produced in Los Angeles by Feeler Media.